They will call it coincidence. They will label it luck. But the truth is this: God is orchestrating a billionaire shift in the spirit realm, and only the chosen ones, those who have endured, who have bled, who have suffered in silence, will hear the trumpet call in time. If you're hearing this message, it's not by accident. It means you have been marked for something massive. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange pressure building in your life, the repeated attacks, the relentless opposition, and the quiet sense that something is about to explode, not in destruction, but in glory. You are not crazy for thinking you were meant for more. You're not arrogant for sensing that your life carries a magnitude beyond your surroundings. That whisper in your soul, the one that tells you this can't be it, is heaven confirming your divine inheritance. But now the heavens are no longer whispering. They're shouting, warning, declaring the time has come. Something divine, something financial, something prophetic is about to erupt. And the chosen ones must be alert, or they'll miss what was designed for them since birth. Listen closely. You've walked through too many storms to be ordinary. You've faced betrayal from people who claimed to love you. You've been isolated, talked about, misjudged. The doors that opened for others were slammed in your face. The jobs, the relationships, the breakthroughs you prayed for, they didn't come when you expected. And yet you kept walking. You didn't fold. You didn't curse God. You didn't bow to the darkness. Why? Because deep inside, something sacred refused to die in you. You were being tested not just for survival, but for stewardship. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. God has hidden you for a time such as this, because what's coming next will shock those who wrote you off. There's a shift happening, and it's not just spiritual, it's economic. It's divine redistribution, and it's already moving, silent, invisible, supernatural. God is transferring wealth, influence, and opportunity, but it won't go to the loudest voice or the richest family. It's going to the pure-hearted, to the spiritually awake, to the ones who were faithful when no one was watching. Your obedience was your investment. Your pain was a down payment. Your tears watered the soil that's about to burst with supernatural fruit. God has been watching you in secret, and now He's preparing to reward you in public. Yes, you, the overlooked, the underestimated, the misunderstood, you're the one they never saw coming, but God did. This is why the warfare has intensified recently. This is why everything you try seems to come with resistance, because the enemy knows what's coming your way, and he's terrified. He knows you're about to step into a level of influence and authority that can't be controlled by systems of man. He's trying to distract you, to discourage you, to disqualify you in your own mind, but you are not disqualified. You are being prepared. Don't let fatigue fool you into believing the lie that it's over. No, it's just beginning. You see, there's a pattern in the kingdom. Before elevation, there is always a stripping. Before glory, there is always misunderstanding. Before God shows you to the world, He hides you to Himself. And in the hiding, He molds you. He stretches you. He breaks every ounce of pride, self-reliance, and ego. He makes sure you won't abuse the blessing when it comes. He makes sure the money won't own you. He teaches you that identity is not built in riches, but in righteousness. That's why your life looked nothing like what you prayed for, because God wasn't just answering prayers, He was forming a person. Chosen one, you are that person. And while others are chasing the bag, you've been chasing wisdom. While others are trying to be viral, you've been trying to be faithful. While they've been building their brand, you've been building your altar. And that is what heaven responds to. That is why you're about to rise. Not slowly, but suddenly. It will confuse the world because it won't make sense on paper. You won't have the resume for where God is about to take you, but that's the point. He wants everyone to know that it was Him. And I must tell you this, what's coming is not just a blessing, it's a mantle. It carries responsibility. It carries spiritual significance. You are not just being blessed to live well. You are being resourced to bring heaven's influence into dark places. This billionaire shift isn't just about financial gain. It's about divine impact. It's about rebuilding what was broken, restoring what was stolen, and reclaiming what was lost. And only those who've been forged in fire will carry it with integrity. God is warning you, not with fear, but with urgency. Pay attention to your dreams. Listen to your discernment. Watch the signs. The people who once mocked you will begin to ask for your advice. The doors that once rejected you will be reopened, but you will no longer need them. God is giving you keys to doors that no man can shut. This isn't just about a job or promotion. This is about generational transformation, the kind that alters bloodlines, the kind that silences curses. You didn't survive by accident. You didn't endure those sleepless nights for nothing. You didn't carry that pain for it to be wasted. No, you carried it because God knew you could steward something this big. Others would have broken, others would have turned bitter, but you allowed the pain to refine you, not define you. That's why you are being called into this next dimension. You're not just going to witness the shift, you are the shift. You're the evidence that God still chooses the broken, the bruised, and the betrayed. You're the one He's about to raise up, not to fit in, but to stand out. And every eye will see, every ear will hear. The same mouths that doubted you will be the ones speaking your name in reverence, not because you became a god, but because you stayed faithful to God when it didn't make sense. Let them laugh, let them ignore, let them gossip. None of it will stop what's been written in the scroll of heaven concerning your life. And what's coming next, this billionaire shift, is not just about money. It's about mission, it's about movement, it's about miracles. The shift has already started, and you've been chosen to carry it. Don't sleep now, don't give up now, don't play small now, because everything is about to change, and you're the reason why. Do you really think the devil would fight you this hard if you weren't carrying something valuable? Do you honestly believe that the sleepless nights, the sudden betrayals, the constant resistance were just random? No, chosen one. You've been in a spiritual battlefield because the kingdom within you is too costly, too radiant, too powerful for darkness to ignore. You don't go through hell for nothing. You go through hell when heaven has already declared you a threat. The moment you were born, a mark was placed upon your life. And it wasn't a target, it was a mantle. But to carry such a mantle requires purification. That's why you were betrayed. That's why your name was dragged through the mud. That's why people you would have died for used your loyalty as a weapon against you. You weren't weak, you were loyal. You weren't naive, you were pure. And the enemy tried to use that purity against you, hoping you would become bitter, hoping you would give up on love, on trust, on God. But you didn't break. Yes, you bled. Yes, you questioned. Yes, you had moments where you wanted to disappear, to quit everything, to silence the voice in your soul that kept whispering, you were made for more. But you didn't. You stood up even if trembling. You prayed even when your voice cracked. You kept showing up when nobody clapped. You kept giving when you had nothing left to give. And heaven recorded every moment. Chosen one, what you've been through wasn't punishment, it was pruning. Every time someone walked away, every time the door shut in your face, every time you were passed over or overlooked, it was God removing what couldn't go with you. Because where you're going, small thinking can't follow, broken identities can't ride. You were being separated to be saturated in divine oil. You were being trained for this coming wealth, not by business schools, but by broken seasons. The wilderness was your classroom. The silence was your teacher. Some of your greatest breakthroughs didn't come through information. They came through revelation. You didn't have a mentor. You had the Holy Spirit. While others were attending conferences, you were attending prayer closets. While they had crowds, you had solitude. But that solitude was sacred. It was where God burned away every false layer until only truth remained. Until your heart could be trusted with power. Because let me tell you, this next shift is not just about what you'll receive. It's about what you'll govern. Yes, God is shifting wealth, Yes, there is a divine transfer happening, but God is only releasing it into trustworthy hands. Not perfect hands, but pure ones. Not famous ones, but faithful ones. And you've proven, without a stage, without applause, without an audience, that your hands will not turn into fists of greed, but open palms of service. You've battled demons you never told anyone about. You've had nights where all you had was a worship song and a tear-stained pillow, and yet you stood. With trembling knees you stood, and heaven watched, not just to see if you would survive, but to see if you would still praise. Because there's a kind of praise that brings resurrection. There's a kind of faith that shifts atmospheres, and you have walked in both. That's why the shift is coming to you. You've been tested in lack. You've learned how to manage the little. Now God is preparing to pour out the much. You've given while broke, and now you're being positioned to fund the very kingdom others only talk about. You won't just own land, you'll reclaim spiritual territory. You won't just build a business, you'll build a legacy that outlives you. You won't just get rich, you'll become a resource. And all of this, every blessing, every opportunity, every door that opens, will be connected to your obedience in the dark. People will say you came out of nowhere, but God will know the real story. He'll know how long you waited. He'll know how you worshiped when the bills were unpaid. He'll remember how you spoke life into others when you needed a miracle yourself. That's what makes this shift so sacred. It's not built on hustle, it's built on holiness. And heaven is about to endorse what you carried in private. But hear this carefully. With wealth comes visibility, and with visibility comes warfare. This isn't the end of your battles. It's the beginning of a new level of opposition. But this time you won't be fighting for survival. You'll be fighting from victory. You'll be protected by favor so heavy it will confuse your enemies. They'll try to stop you, but they won't understand you. They'll try to imitate you, but they won't carry your oil, because your oil didn't come cheap. It came from crushing. You were crushed by lies. You were crushed by loss. You were crushed by repeated rejection. And still, you rose. Not in bitterness, but in boldness. And now God is about to place you where no one thought you belonged. He's lifting you not to show off your greatness, but to showcase His faithfulness. Because when people see your life, they won't just see success. They'll see redemption. They'll see a God who makes broken things beautiful. This is why you had to go through what you did. It wasn't fair, but it was necessary. It wasn't easy, but it was essential. You had to walk alone so you'd learn to walk with God. You had to lose so you'd value restoration. You had to be forgotten by people so you'd be remembered by heaven. And now the heavens are speaking, get ready, the shift has come. This won't just be a financial increase, it will be a full-body resurrection. Your name, your voice, your influence, your anointing, all of it is about to rise. And when it does, don't shrink, don't second-guess, don't apologize. You've paid the price, you've cried the tears, you've done the work. Now step into it. Step into your calling. Step into your wealth. Step into your authority, not in pride, but in purpose. Because the world isn't just waiting for another billionaire, it's waiting for a spiritual leader with resources, someone who doesn't worship money but uses it to shift atmospheres. Someone who doesn't chase power but carries presence. That someone is you. Chosen one, the warning wasn't meant to scare you, it was meant to wake you up. There's no more time for delay. You must move, strategize, pray, prepare, because what's coming will not wait, and when it hits, it will hit fast. Sudden favor, sudden alignment, sudden release, and you must be ready. Because when God moves, He doesn't knock, He invades. They thought they got away with it, didn't they? The lies, the betrayal, the character assassination, the manipulation behind closed doors, the laughter in rooms you were excluded from, the opportunities stolen right from under you. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't see, is that God was documenting everything. Every whisper, every insult, every secret plot against you was heard in the courtrooms of heaven. And now justice is moving. The shift you're about to experience is not only financial, it is a divine correction, a holy reversal. a public vindication of every quiet storm you've ever survived. Those who tried to bury you are about to watch you bloom. Those who mocked your faith are about to witness its reward. God is not just blessing you in silence, He is preparing a table for you in the presence of those who doubted your calling. But this is no ordinary table. This is not about revenge, it's about revelation. It's about showing the world that when God marks a person, no attack, no slander, no betrayal can stop the anointing from rising to the surface. This is about divine recompense, and it's coming to you. Some of you have felt like your life was stuck, as if the gears of progress were jammed. But what you didn't know is that heaven was holding back the release until everything was aligned for maximum impact. You weren't being delayed, you were being perfected. You weren't being punished, you were being reserved. And now it's time. The years the locusts have eaten, restored. The favor that was blocked, unleashed. The voice that was silenced, amplified. The inheritance that was withheld, released. And not by human systems, but by divine command. God is getting ready to reveal you. Not just to a few friends, not just to a small audience, but to the nations. And when He does, it won't look like what anyone expected, because you don't fit the mold. You don't move like others. You don't conform to the world's ideas of success. You're different. You're chosen. And that's why the blessing coming to you will confuse the systems of this world. You won't have the usual credentials. You won't have the typical endorsements. But you'll have God's signature. You'll have favor that bypasses protocol. You'll have open doors no man can explain. This billionaire shift, it's heaven's idea, not man's. And God never sponsors anything He hasn't already secured. So when you walk through the new doors, do it boldly. Not arrogantly, but boldly. You're not trespassing. You're inheriting. You're not intruding. You're fulfilling prophecy. Because this isn't just about money. It's about what God is going to do through you with the money. You've always had a heart to build, to give, to restore, but you lacked the tools, the resources, the access. That's what this shift is correcting. You will no longer live in survival mode. You will no longer have to beg, borrow, or scrape by, because God is funding your vision now. He's supplying the kingdom dream He planted in you long ago. And it's not just so you can live well, it's so you can lift others out of the pit. This is the kind of shift that makes headlines, not in newspapers but in the heavens. Your story will be used as evidence. You will be the proof that pain has a purpose, that delay is not denial, that faith still moves mountains. And when people ask, "How did you do it?" you'll answer with one name, God. But here's what you must remember. This shift comes with strategy. You can't carry it like the world carries wealth. You are not a collector. You are a distributor. You are not an owner. You are a steward. God is trusting you with this increase because He knows you won't idolize it. He knows you'll multiply it. And He knows you'll use it to tear down the altars of greed, poverty, and oppression. This is why the attacks were so relentless. Because your rise doesn't just change your life, it breaks strongholds in entire bloodlines. It awakens others who were afraid to dream. It exposes the enemy's tactics and empowers the righteous to take their place. You are a domino, and your obedience causes others to rise. That's why hell tried so hard to make you quit. Because if you rise, many will follow. But it's too late now. You've seen too much. You've endured too much. You've grown too deep in your walk with God to go back. And this shift, it's already happening in the realm of the Spirit. For some of you, divine ideas are already flowing. Visions are returning. Sleep is disturbed not by anxiety, but by heavenly downloads. God is speaking. He's showing you what's next. You're not waiting on a sign. You are the sign. Your life is a prophecy. Your rise is a message. And the wealth that's coming to you, it's a tool, a divine instrument. The world uses money for status. You'll use it for strategic restoration. There are ministries you'll fund, families you'll rescue, lands you'll redeem, foundations you'll build. Entire regions will feel the ripple effects of your obedience, and none of it will be for your glory. It will all point back to the one who raised you when no one else believed in you. But you must stay awake. This isn't the season to be casual. Pay attention to what God is showing you. He's aligning you with people of influence. He's opening doors that were locked for decades. He's making your name known where it matters. But you must walk in wisdom. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every offer is anointed. You'll need discernment more than ever before, because the enemy won't stop chasing what he couldn't kill. But this time he'll have no access, because your season has shifted. Your status has changed. Your position has elevated. And your soul finally has caught up to your assignment. What you're about to walk into isn't new. It's what God had planned all along. You just had to be healed enough, whole enough, bold enough to carry it. So hear this clearly, chosen one. The reversal is happening. The justice is here. The doors are swinging open, and your name is on them. Step forward with reverence. Carry the mantle with humility. Use the blessing with wisdom. Because the world is watching, heaven is cheering, and the shift is in motion. You've probably asked yourself at some point, why me? Why did it have to be you who suffered the most in silence? Why were you the one picked to endure the pressure, the heartbreak, the constant rejection from people you once trusted with your soul? The answer is painful but divine, because your spirit was strong enough to carry what others would have broken under. Because the call on your life wasn't small. Because the weight of your assignment required the kind of fire that could burn off anything fake and unworthy of what God was going to place in your hands. You see, many are called, but few are willing to be crushed. You were. And that's why your life was targeted from the very beginning. The warfare you've faced isn't proof of weakness. It's evidence of your value. That's why you've been a threat since birth. That's why people were strangely jealous of you before you even had anything. There was something on you that made others uncomfortable, even if they didn't understand why. Your presence carries light, and light irritates darkness. But more than that, your story exposes something uncomfortable in others, their own refusal to go deep. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your elevation, even in suffering, is a mirror to their own disobedience. So they attack you, they betray you, they speak against you. Not because you're wrong, but because you remind them of what they chose not to become. It's important you understand this. People don't always react to who you are. They react to what you reveal in them. Your purity exposes their manipulation. Your generosity reveals their greed. Your discipline confronts their excuses. And your calling makes them feel the weight of their own spiritual laziness. But God didn't place you here to make others comfortable. He placed you here to awaken what's been buried under fear and conformity. You are a divine disruptor. You break patterns, you expose cycles, you shake atmospheres. That's why the enemy has been trying so hard to bury you under guilt and confusion. If he can't stop your calling, he'll try to make you doubt it. He'll send voices to tell you you're too much. He'll use people to make you question your own discernment. But you must remember, your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a weapon. Your empathy isn't emotional instability. It's prophetic wiring. You see what others miss. You hear what others ignore. And that's exactly why God is entrusting you with so much more. But here's the paradox. Those who carry the most are often given the least early on. Why? Because if you're trained in abundance too soon, you'll depend on the blessing and not the voice. God taught you how to build without tools. He showed you how to survive without support. Because he was developing your eyes to see in the Spirit before he put anything into your hands. He taught you how to move by faith, not by familiarity. There is a divine law in the kingdom that many overlook. Before God reveals the promise, he reveals the problem. Before he places you in influence, he sends you through obscurity. Why? Because pressure produces clarity. And if you can't find your voice in the dark, you'll lose yourself in the light. You had to learn how to worship when it made no sense. You had to stay faithful when nothing looked like favor, because that is what formed your foundation. That's what made your roots run deep. Now God says, the structure is ready, the soil is prepared, the fruit can now come forth. And He will not bless you in shallow soil. He had to deepen your capacity before He could widen your reach. But let's go deeper still. This shift isn't just about you, it's about your bloodline. It's about the cycles that have haunted your family for generations. Poverty mindsets, scarcity thinking, constant settling, all of it stops with you. You are the interruption to the dysfunction. You are the Moses that breaks the chains. You are the Joseph that rises in a foreign land. You are the David that conquers what everyone else was afraid to face. That's why it was lonely. That's why you were misunderstood even by your own family. You weren't just different. You were divinely decoded to carry a different pattern. You're not here to repeat what others did. You're here to rewrite it. You're here to open doors that never existed before. That's why this billionaire shift is so much more than money. It's the evidence of a redeemed mandate, a restored mission, a recalibrated soul. You've been through divine isolation so God could disconnect you from systems that no longer serve your soul. He made you invisible for a season so the enemy couldn't track your growth. It was painful, yes, but it was protection. And now He's saying, it's time. You're about to be seen again, but this time with clarity, with authority, and with wisdom that only the wilderness could give. And the wealth coming to you, it will not own you, because you already died to everything fake. The glitz, the applause, the chasing of validation, none of it impresses you now. What moves you is alignment. What matters is purpose. That's why you're ready. That's why the heavens are opening, because you're no longer trying to prove yourself. You're simply walking in the truth of who God made you to be. And as you step into this new level, you will begin to recognize new laws operating in your life. Divine acceleration, supernatural connections, instant favor, but also increased responsibility, higher discernment, sharper spiritual warfare. You can no longer move like you used to. You must protect your peace, guard your circle, honor your energy, not out of fear, but out of wisdom, because you are now operating on kingdom assignments. What you touch must multiply. What you speak must carry life. Where you walk must shift the air. You're not just here to make money, you're here to establish dominion, to bring heaven's order into earthly chaos, to be an ambassador of restoration. And chosen one, that requires strength of spirit. But you already have it. You proved it when you stood in the storm, when you didn't retaliate, when you held your tongue while others defamed you. You passed the test. You grew in silence. You bloomed in shadows. Now the light is coming, and when it finds you, it won't find someone who's desperate to be seen. It will find someone who is grounded, focused, aligned, ready, because you've been forged by fire, and gold only shines after it's refined. You are not who you used to be. And this moment in your journey is not just another chapter. It is the turning point. Heaven has already spoken your name into the winds of change. The angels have already moved into position, and the Spirit of God is standing at the gates of your breakthrough, saying, enough, you've done enough. Now let me take over. The war in your soul was real. The confusion, the weariness, the long nights of doubt that tried to smother the fire in your chest, it all came to test your alignment. But you passed. And now what once tried to break you will watch you rise, not just into a new season, but into a new system, a new level of provision, wisdom, authority, and divine economy. You don't need to beg anymore. You don't need to chase. The inheritance is already yours. The shift that is happening is not something you earn. It's something you were born for. It was written in the books of heaven long before you took your first breath. And while life tried to bury that promise under trauma, under rejection, under fear, you never lost it. It was simply being protected until you were ready to carry it with grace. Chosen one, let this be your reassurance. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You were being forged. You were being calibrated. You were being prepared to walk in divine alignment, not just earthly success. And now that your heart has been purified, your mind renewed, your character strengthened, now that your spirit is fully awake, the blessing can find you. The doors will begin to open, one by one. Some may swing wide unexpectedly, some may open quietly, but you will know. These are not coincidences, these are confirmations. The people coming into your life now will not drain you, they will sharpen you. The opportunities will no longer pull you out of alignment. They will reveal your assignment. And the finances coming into your hands will not come with strings attached, but with purpose embedded. You must walk forward now, not as the one who survived, but as the one who was sent. You were not preserved to simply enjoy abundance. You were preserved to distribute it, to free others, to build what the world has neglected, to plant seeds in dry places, to speak life into forgotten souls. This is the true wealth, the kind that cannot be stolen, the kind that multiplies through obedience. And you must protect it, not in fear, but in reverence. Because what you carry is sacred, it is rare, and it is disruptive to the forces of darkness. Don't be surprised if opposition rises. Don't be alarmed if former voices reappear trying to hook themselves onto your elevation. Stay grounded, stay quiet, let your fruit speak. God is your defender now. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to vindicate your journey. The results will speak louder than anything you could ever say. And those who once dismissed you will have no choice but to recognize that only God could have done this. You are being positioned as a pillar, visible, unmoved, spiritually unshakable. That's why you can't go back. That's why you must be watchful. No more second-guessing, no more shrinking, no more tolerating dishonor. You are not arrogant for knowing who you are. You are obedient for walking in it. This wealth you're stepping into, it's not about flaunting riches. It's about showing others what redemption looks like. It's about proving that yes, God still raises the forgotten. Yes, He still restores what was stolen. Yes, He still funds the faithful. And yes, He still uses people just like you to change the world. There's one last thing I must tell you. This is not the end of the journey. This is the activation, the new beginning, the unfolding of what has always been inside you. So don't treat it like a destination. Treat it like a divine assignment. Stay in prayer. Stay sensitive. Stay aligned. Because the blessings are not coming to elevate your ego. They're coming to expand your influence, to lift others, to testify to God's power, to restore dignity where there was shame, to build new systems in a world that has profited from oppression. You are a kingdom architect now, and everything you build must reflect the heart of God. So what now? What do you do as this billionaire shift unfolds? You rise, chosen one. You rise in spirit. You rise in mind. You rise in confidence. You bless others without explaining your wealth. You give without needing praise. You create without waiting for applause. You serve without forgetting where you came from. Because you remember the pit. You remember the prayer closet. You remember the nights of silence, the days of hunger, the years of obscurity. And now you honor that past by walking fully into your present calling. Don't delay, don't apologize, don't look back. This is your moment. This is your confirmation. This is your appointed time. The shift is here. You are ready. Now walk into it as the chosen one you were born to be, and may everything attached to your obedience flourish. Heaven is watching. We are witnessing. And the earth is about to feel the full weight of your awakening. Go,